Hello.
Hi.
Hi,
Hello.
hi, hi.
How are you?
Hi.
How's everyone?
Good. How are you?
Thank you. Good. Very good.
I'm all right. I'm all right. Hi, Sam. How's it going?
Okay, pretty good.
Are you cold, Sam?
Yeah, I am cold. Believe it or not.
You are cold?
I am cold.
You need to switch with Alex.
I know. Alex is coming to us from I don't know where.
The streets of Rio or something, or Sao Paulo.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, this is Salvador.
The Salvador.
El Salvador.
Not the country El Salvador. This is a city in Brazil.
Oh.
Oh, Salvador, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, all right. So let's continue, right? Arch, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
So let's go to question 7.
You have been
let's see. Yeah, go ahead.
You have been asked to lead a class on preventing social engineering. What 2 topics should you be sure to cover? Choose 2.
All right, so before you answer that, just a little bit more about social engineering. I think the notes from the last class was, all right, so we said social engineering, right, is the idea of, using social information, right? Things that people, an attacker, something they found out about you somehow. Maybe you left your purse in a place and they picked up some information. You have your information on social media, all that stuff. Somebody, a whole variety of ways where people get your information, right? For example, if I am going to go to white pages, right? Arch, can I look you up on white pages? Will I find your information there?
No.
No? Okay, can we try? So, what's your last name again?
It's K.U.
No,
K.
K.
K as in kite.
Oh, KW?
And U as an umbrella. K.
Say it again?
K.U. K as in kite and U as an umbrella.
KU.
Yeah.
Your last name is KU?
It's capital though.
Yeah.
What? Oh, what do you mean capital? I'm just doing a search. Doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we say Boston, right? Boston, Mass. All right. So let's see. Okay. Nothing was found. That is terrible. Okay, we're gonna look for Sam.
Uh-oh.
All right. Sam, I hope I remember your last name right. No, I didn't get that right.
No, E-I-N. E-I-N.
E-I-N. E-I-N.
Yep. No.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so let's search for Sam.
I'm not in Boston though.
Oh.
But there are interesting people with my name in Boston.
And Sam, I don't think you have clocked your over retirement, like maxed your retirement yet, right?
Right.
Okay, you're not in Boston, right? Okay, so let's see. What's your specific city?
No, so you just want to know everything about me. Mansfield.
We want to break into Sam's house and take all his stuff and take his coat.
This is really, this is unprofessional. It's
No, don't
Mansfield,
worry.
Mass. Mansfield,
Okay.
M-A-N-S.
No. Actually, see, the idea is so. You see, the idea of social engineering is, of course, you're never going to be able to ask the person, right? The idea is you want to use something that you know about them to find out as much information.
Right.
So you're never going to ask the person because obviously, I mean, if you say, just some random person calls you and says, "What's your city?" You're like, "What?" you're certainly not going to say that, right?
Right.
So white pages, right? White pages. It is possible that somebody knows. I mean, in this case, I don't know Sam City, so I'm not close at all. I have a bunch of, Samuel Bernstein's here, but none that matches my target, right? So I've got to keep looking, trying to find information about Sam some other way. All right. So let's see what it says here about social media. Sorry, social engineering, right? Because it's it's an important topic for us to talk about. So see what it says right here. So social engineering is a process, and this is done by hackers, right? This is done by hackers who are trying to gain access. It's not just done by regular people, so to speak. It's done by people who are trying to find some information about you for illicit purposes. So they want to acquire information about you or your network, such as talking to people in your company, try to find some way. The whole point is to defraud you in some way, right? So it says that the intent of this kind of inquiry is to maybe grab your username and ID if they can, get an email that you use so they can spam you and try to get you to fall to some of their schemes.
Oh.
Do we have an intruder here from Kaush's house?
Probably.
Okay. Your telephone number, your physical address, your personal information, date of birth, location of birth, your mother's maiden name. This kind of information is usually what you use on a verification, like your bank, your insurance, things like that, right? It says other information, right? So most people are going to use their school, their favorite team, the Celtics, the Red Sox, Los Angeles Lakers, or their favorite music, or some TV actor or somebody famous, or your pet name. Most people use stuff like that, or your child's name, for their password or username or a combination of it, right? So, of course, right here it says that social engineering works because people, when people sweet talk you and tell you, oh, I met you 2 years ago, Alex. Oh, you were very kind to me. You actually helped me out, and you're like, I don't remember that. Oh, no, you helped me out. It was such a dip, and you're like, I don't remember. Well, so your heart kind of becomes a bit soft, right? And then I can ask you, so you have a teacher called Sam, right? What's his last name again? So while you're kind of like, in this soft mode, then they get on this, they attack you with that information. And then you feel like you got to tell them, because, well, if I was nice to this person, I don't want to look not nice right now, So it's a strategy from professional attackers, right? Regular people wake up and go to work every day and go about their business. Well, people like this, let me show you something else here. All right, so if you see here, right, So, I always say that if you want to be on social media, this is the real social media. If you want to be real famous, right? You want to be real famous. If you are not on FBI's most wanted, then you're not famous at all. But just kidding. But seriously, people who actually, let's go here. Let's go to this site here. Let's go here and go to the main site. All right. So this is FBI's most wanted, right? People who have committed some serious crimes. Serious crimes. So, Arch, which one should we look at? Choose somebody you want to look at in more detail.
The Muhammad, this one. Muhammad.
Which one?
The second one.
This guy here?
Yeah.
Okay. Muhammad Reza? Okay. Yeah. Let's see this guy. Let's see what he did. All right. So let's see the poster here. All right. So conspiracy to commit computer intrusions, obtaining information by unauthorized access, conspiracy to commit wire fraud. So this guy's, let's see. This guy is Iranian. All right, let's see what he did here. All right, so look at that. Let me see. Allegedly engaged in a, look at that. You guys can see that, right? They engaged in a campaign of social engineering. I didn't even know that, right? Look at that. A campaign of social engineering, right? That resulted in the theft of U.S. citizens' identities, right? Which they then used to steal critical information related to American aerospace and satellite technology and resources, including sensitive commercial information, intellectual property, and personal data. See, Kaush, you picked the right person, because this is exactly what we're talking about. Kaush, Arch, how did you know that? Do you know this guy?
No.
Okay. But that's exactly what we're talking about, right? This is their job. This is their job, right? They use to try to steal your identity. Sometimes they log into your bank account somehow and they steal $1 every day. Just $1 every day. Is that a lot of money? Maybe not. But if you steal $1 from 10 people, 20 people, 1,000 people, how about 1 million people every day, right? So that's what social engineering is, right? And people who do this stuff they're real criminals. That's their job. All right? So sometimes they're going to call, right? They're going to call, let's see this here. Says many times they might call your office or call your number, right? There's this guy who calls me regularly. I don't even know who he is. So when he calls and my phone hardly rings, right? Except I have a scheduled call. But this guy calls and he says, "Is Victor there?" So the first time I'm like, "Victor? No Victor here." He says, "Oh, I have you on the phone." Then he starts, he needs money for this, he needs money for that, he needs money for that. He's a vet. They're getting money for veterans and the military. And I thought, "Sorry, sir, I can't help you." I dropped the phone. So the next time he called, "Is Victor there?" I said, "I told you it's the wrong number." I said, "Oh, now that I have you." Then it goes on and on and on and on and on. Of course, now when I get the call and he says, "Is Victor there?" I just go, boom, that's it, right? So it's not exactly a scam. It's kind of like they're looking for donations, but, that's kind of how it works. Okay. So, has anyone had any experience with people calling you and trying to be fake and somebody else? Sam, have you had that?
No, I've never had that.
Oh, really?
No.
No one trying to, pretend they were somebody else, false identity?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. You're one of the top 1% of people who have never been, you know,
I'm just lucky. I'm just lucky.
okay, any of you guys had any experience?
Yes, I
Somebody
got.
calling you.
Yeah.
Who's there?
Ling.
Okay, tell me about it.
Just
What
have
happened?
calling me say have a package from blah blah blah. Then have should pay something like that. Then I and then he said what's your name? Then I said my name is Ling blah blah blah. Then that guy said, oh okay, hold on. Then nothing. Because I answer is the wrong name.
So they're always trying to get information, right? Sometimes somebody calls a hospital and says, "Is my wife there?" Now, healthcare, right, or even schools, they have different policies, right, on how you respond when people are looking for information, right? They have policies that we need to understand. You don't just give out information because somebody says, "Oh, is my mom there? Is my daughter there? Is my wife there? Is my son there?" You don't know who the person is on the other side of the phone, right? So we have to follow established protocol from our office before we give out information, right? Because people just pretend, and there's no way for you to know, but you got to follow the office procedure and policies. Okay. All right, so let's keep going here. Let's go back to that question, Arch. Let's see if we can. Okay, well, let's go through a few more things. So the different topics that come under social engineering. So social engineering is a big topic. So here are some things that come under social engineering, like the different categories of social engineering. You have phishing. We talked about this yesterday, right? So phishing is email, right? They send you email looking for something from you. Like the email I showed you guys yesterday, right? They're trying to get you to do something, right? Fishing, just like when you actually go and fish, in the lake or whatever, in the river for, actual fish. So they're trying to see if they can catch you or catch something. So it's mostly, that's through email. Phishing comes through email, right? And then, of course, all this kind of phishing emails, there's always, most times, a link. There's a link for you to click on or a phone number for you to call so they can continue to put the pressure on you, right? Those links can be very, very harmful to your computer. And you may not even know it. You click a link, you think, oh, nothing happened. But you may not know it because people who are professionals, they know how to attach files to a link, even if you wouldn't see anything happening, right? So when you get an email that you don't recognize, don't even read it. If it's from your bank, call your bank first and verify. If it's from Amazon or FedEx or UPS, well, call the company directly if you're not sure. Don't click around and call a false number. That might put you in serious trouble. All right, so that's phishing is a type of social engineering. Then we go to shoulder surfing. Anybody knows what shoulder surfing is? All right, shoulder surfing. So here's shoulder surfing here. This lady is doing her work, and this guy is like, what is she doing there? Right? And she's not even paying attention to maybe somebody's around her. She's just smiling, enjoying whatever it is she's doing. Right? So you got to be aware of, who is around me, what's happening. Make sure that when maybe you're on the bus, on the train, right, that your information is, yeah, there you go. That's another person snooping, right, trying to see what you're doing. Nobody's business, right? So always be, look around you for shoulder surfers. These days everyone has a phone, and somebody might pretend to be on their phone, but they're actually looking at your phone, right? They're looking at your phone, and sometimes somebody carries their phone, and they might be taking pictures, of what you're doing. You just think they're on their phone, might be taking pictures. Now, I'm not trying to scare you guys, like, oh man, I'm not going to use a phone again. I'm not going to go out in public. I'm going to stay at home all day. No. The point is, we have to be watchful. Watchful, because there are people who are out there who have nothing else to do but to commit crime. So they're trying to see if you're not paying attention, and they can grab something small from you and then go on from there. So it's not about, no, I'm not trying to make you afraid, but these are realities that we deal with. All right, these are realities that we deal with. And there are people like Mohammed Reza who do this job, right? That's what they do. All right, so shoulder surfing it involves, people watching you when you enter your data, your information, right? Look at this here. Lynn, what does this say? It is common courtesy, right? When somebody is typing their password, you look away, right? When somebody's typing their password, don't just say, okay, what are you typing? Look away, right? Give people their privacy. All right. One of the things that we do to reduce the effect of shoulder surfing is we use screen filters. What's a screen filter? So let's see this here. So a screen filter, you might see this on a computer, okay, like that, for example, right? It's like a little screen that you stick on your monitor, right? You stick it on your monitor. Now, if somebody tries to look at your computer from either side, they're not going to see. It's going to just look black, right, or dark. So, especially if you go to an office, you're going to see, screen filters that you can place over your screen, right? It helps to prevent people looking at stuff. Sometimes people come to customer service and they stay there trying to see what's going on your screen. Not allowed. So you can use screen filters to prevent people snooping around when you're working. So shoulder surfing is one type of social engineering. We also we talked about dumpster diving already, right, yesterday. All right, so dumpster diving, so shoulder surfing, phishing, those are types of social engineering. People are trying to get information from you through your trash, through your friends, by calling you, trying to be deceptive, sending you emails. All right, Arch, back to you. So what is it?
B, shoulder surfing, and D, phishing.
All right, so shoulder surfing, phishing, when you want to prevent social engineering. Okay, Alex, next one is for you. On a network, a user needs to access 3 different types of systems. So let's say you log into you work in the office, you log into your computer. From your computer, you have to log into maybe a portal to check your grades. Then you have to log into another portal to download some files. You have to log into another portal, right? So you have all these different portals that are connected to your computer. You can get different types of information, right? So what he's saying here is you're trying to access different types of system. You know, maybe you're in school or you're at the office or something. It says you're required to enter your username and password only once. So when you log in, you enter it once and that's it. You can keep working. Go to all these different systems that are on your network, but you only log in once. Okay, Alex?
The answer is B, single sign-on.
So let's see what that is, single sign-on. All right, so look at it right there. So it says right here, the purpose of single sign-on, SSO, is to give users access to all the applications and systems with one login. Right? For example, let me show you guys this. So one of the places where I work, I have to go to this site here. I got to go to this site here. I log in here. And it brings me right here, right? So I log in once, and it brings me right here. If I want to get to the Zoom, I have it here. I want to get to Office. I want to get to Web Advisor. I want to get to payment, the college interface, Canvas. It's all here. All I need to do is sign in one time, just like I did. Right, Alex? That's what you mean, right?
Yes.
So single sign-on. You only sign in once, and you can access all the different applications that you need to get to. Now, is there a problem with that, Alex? With that kind of idea? For example, here, do you see any issues there? Any potential security challenges, risk?
Yeah. If by any chance someone gets your username and password, your login information, they have access to all your system information. Just
Okay.
at once, just with one single move.
That's right. So that's what it says here. It says single sign-on is both a blessing and a curse, right? It's a blessing because, you know, you get authenticated, you're fine, you have everything. But it's a curse because, you know, once you get in, you'll have access to everything, like everything, right? And that is dangerous. So in some ways, it might be okay, but, you know, the people who are in charge of IT and security have to really, you know, act, you know, it's just going to be a thorough assessment of, is this, you know, does this work, right? Does this work? So, of course, you always want things to be convenient for your staff, but you have to make sure that the back end is secure, right? You have to make sure that the back end is secure to prevent issues. All right? Okay, so single sign-on is what you have there for that one. Now let's see this other 3 here. Let's see this authentication, authorization, and non-repudiation. Sounds like some big words. So let's go back to single sign-on. Okay, so So we have this general topic we refer to as access control, right? Basically, access control is trying to control who can gain access to something, to a building, but in most cases to the network, right? Who can get in and who cannot, or who should not, right? Right here it says the ultimate goal of a security system is to protect resources by keeping bad people out and letting the good people in, right? You want to keep people out and keep the right people in. So there is a model, right? A kind of a security model that's referred to as AAA. AAA is authentication, authorization, and accounting. These are very serious, very important topics in network security, right? Authentication, authorization, and accounting. Now, before we look at the definition, Anu, what do you think authentication means?
Permission. Permission given by the person.
Permission. Well, permission is it's not specific enough, right? We're trying to be more specific. I mean, you're right, because generally it means, okay, I permitted you to do something, right? But when we talk about authentication, we also have to think about a word, I think, we have to think about this word. Let's go here. We have to think about the word identification, right?
Correct.
Now, when you're talking about authentication, so let's say, I know you call your bank and you say, I lost my credit card. Can you, block my card and send me a replacement? When you call the bank officer, do they ask you anything?
Yeah, your account number.
Now, why did they ask you your account number?
Your ID.
They're asking you your account number to identify you, right? Before you can authenticate, right, you identify the person first, right? So they're going to ask you your social security number, your secret question, stuff like that, to identify who you are. So once they are able to correctly identify you, right, and they look at their system and everything checks out, then they provide you the information, right? So authentication, it's like, let's go back a little bit here. Let's go to, let me just get some things from you. May, do you have a driver's license?
Yes.
Okay, when you went to apply for your driver's license, did they ask you for something else? You just said, I want a driver's license. They're like, okay, give me 2 minutes. Boom, boom, here is it. Right? That was it.
No, you need to get the permit first.
Okay, you need to get your permit and all that stuff. All right. Now, before you get your permit, do you need any documentation? Or you just say, I want a permit. They're like, here is it.
Or you need to take a exam.
Okay, you need to take an exam. How about before the exam? Maybe you need to bring your data.
Yeah, your ID, your like some address.
Exactly.
Birth certificate.
Yep. Your address, you got to bring your address, your date of birth, your birth certificate. You got to bring your grandparents. You got to bring your children. Right?
No. They need your education.
See, you want penny?
So you got to bring all this stuff, right? If you rent or if you own a house, you got to bring all that information, right? because they have to identify you first.
Mm-hmm.
When they identify you, right, then it confirms that you are for real. So the whole idea of authentication is to confirm somebody's identity. So when we confirm your identity and everything checks out, and we see that you are eligible, right? When we see that you are eligible for that service, then you go through the process and they give you a driver's license, ultimately, which means that you are now authorized to drive. So you have to be authenticated, identified first, right? And we check out your identity and everything. That's the process, the whole process of being authenticated. Now, on the network, it's kind of similar on the network. Whatever credentials you present, username, password, and all that stuff, it has to match what we have on the system. So we identify you, and before we authorize you to get into the system, right? So that's the whole process. Let's see more specifically what it says here. So, all right. So, it says something about, before you can access the system, they're going to ask you some questions, right? Some questions. There's quite a lot of steps in trying to verify that the person is who they say they are. All right. So let's break it down here a little bit with what the book says. So types of authentication, let's go specifically. Single sign-on, we saw that already. Now, authorization. Authorization. All right, so right here, once it is determined who the user is, that is after you are identified, right? The next step is what the user can do. For example, I showed you this platform that I use. Some other of my colleagues may not have some of this, permissions here. For example, this is the admin portal for payment. I don't have any access to that, right? So if I click that, it doesn't really go anywhere. Maybe that's for the HR people, all right? So in terms of authorization, what are you allowed to do? What can you do, right? Authorization. So there's some particular task or specific task that you can complete or you can perform, right? So like I said, depending on what your job is, you might have access to some of this information or not, okay? So that's authorization, right? Authorization. Then let's go to some of these other things that you have to just look at that yourself, but let's go to the other part here, accounting. Now, accounting is not, like payroll and QuickBooks. That's not what we're talking about. Accounting is sort of tracking what a user has done, or basically, if we want to say, well, who logged into this website or who used this computer, right? We have to be able to track that information. Or when we give you access to the computer, what websites did you go to, right? That is accounting. Right here it says, trying to find out what the users did with the authorization we gave them, right? For example, if you have a driver's license, you probably will travel, right? You might travel from here to Maine, or you go to New Hampshire, you go to Vermont. Every time you're on the road, there are cameras on the road that capture your activity, right? And then you have to pay toll at different places. Most of the tolls are now electronic tolls, so you don't see anybody. You don't pay cash. Some places you still do. but they collect toll from you anyway, right? If you have the easy pass, that's an easier way to pay your toll, or they send you a bill to your house. So basically, a driver has to be has to make accounts, right? There's accounting. We know where you have been, and so we charge you for it. Of course, if there's a crime that's been committed, and they're going to do the investigation and say, May, we found your driver's license in New Jersey on Sunday at 10 p.m. Were you there at 10 p.m. on Sunday? You're like, no, I was in my house watching Netflix. Then they have to investigate and say, well, how come your car, we saw your car, your driver's, your license number, everything was right there in New Jersey. So you have to get a lawyer and defend yourself. I say, no, I was in my house. Somebody stole my car and stole my driver's license, right, May?
Yeah.
So that's what accounting is, right? I mean, for example, if you grab somebody's computer, you can go into their history and you want to say, well, what websites have you been to on that computer, right? Accounting. We want to know, what did you do, right? What did you do with the access?
So,
So those question?
it's tracking. So you're tracking everything.
Yeah, let me go back there, right here. Yeah, right here. Yep. Yeah, so so tracking, it's keeping logs, actions of what the user has done and stuff like that. I mean, every website. I mean, I think literally everything that we do is tracked. Now, not for the purpose of committing crime, like you hear, oh, websites are always tracking me. Well, they're supposed to track you, but they're not supposed to use that information against you or to do anything illegal. The purpose of tracking is for accounting, right? How many people have visited our website? What's the traffic like? Just useful information, not about me trying to track you to see where you live so I can come and commit a crime against you. So unfortunately, some websites and some businesses, they do that. They use your information and they sell your information to do, stuff, crazy things. So, but access control, or should I say, the whole access control, it's like, in your house, you want to know who's coming to your house. You might have a doorbell, a video doorbell that records activity of what's happening around you. You just want to be aware what is happening. If you have employees, you want to know, are my employees wasting my time when they're on their computer, or are they doing the job? Accounting, right? So tracking, I mean, your computer, if I type, I'm not going to spend time right now because we don't have much time, but your computer has a log, right? A log, the word log, L-O-G. Your computer has a log of whatever you do on the computer. If you open the program, you close the program, you shut down your computer, you start it again, your computer keeps that information because it might be useful to you someday, right? People who have, people who manage networks, right? They have dashboards. Let me show you an example, right? All right, so here might be an example on the job of a kind of a dashboard that is used to track, for example, this might be a dashboard that you see in a company where, your job is to monitor the dashboard. You want to see, 192 up, 36 down. I don't know what that means with this dashboard, but it might mean something in your company. So maybe you want to have this unknown, this gray area, for example, right? Maybe you have to tell your boss, oh, this number 5 should be down to 0. Why do we have 5? there might be something you have to keep an eye on, right? Look at all the data continuously, analyze your data and be sure of what is happening, right? Stuff like this might save your company, might prevent things from happening, all kinds of things, right? For example, well, I hate to bring this up, but I got to bring it up because it's part of our discussion. So when we had the, excuse me, when we had the Boston bombings, right? Now I'm not part of Boston security, right? But we know from all the stories that were told that these two guys here, right, carried backpacks, right? They carried okay, right here. Let's use this one. They carried backpacks when they went to the marathon. This was 2014. I forgot, 2013, right? 2013, 2014.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, now some people's job, right? Some people's job, part of the police or the security, their job was to monitor, the activities. Not monitor the activities so they can, harass you or something, but just to see if there was anything suspicious happening. That's the purpose of accounting, right? Now, somebody didn't do their job or whatever happened that day. These two guys got away with whatever they did. Well, they didn't get away with it, but, they kind of succeeded. Some people got injured. Some people died, unfortunately. So the idea of accounting, if it's your job, it's a very serious job, right? To know what is happening, to report the right thing, something is suspicious, something doesn't look right, to report that to your boss. That might be your job. And it might be a very boring job. Like if you work at the airport, airport job is very, very boring, right? But it's your job. And you might have to, for example, let's see. Yep, when people are going through the airport and everything, it might be your job to watch the monitors as people are going by. You might catch something suspicious and report it to your boss. So all that is the idea of accounting, tracking, right? Tracking to find information that might be helpful to your company, something dangerous maybe, that can be prevented, right? So I went into a lot of detail there because some of these things, we don't realize them, but they can be very effective if we take our job seriously. And that might be your job one day, like I said, right? So that's the idea of tracking there. Tracking is not a bad word, even though we all hate tracking. There's a good reason why things are tracked, but people misuse it and try to, sell you stuff all the time. All right, so back to that question. So I think it was Alex. No, was it Alex? Nope.
No.
I forget. Actually, was that a question? No, okay, I was just trying to explain. Yeah, Alex answered single sign-on. Trying to explain.
Authentication.
Yeah, trying to explain the other terms.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at non-repudiation. It's a big word, but let's just look at it. So you have, it's part of the whole authorization thing. So let's see, non-repudiation. So in short, look at it here. In short, when you hear of non-repudiation, basically it's a concept. And that concept or idea, it's like trying to provide proof that something happened. Like, the example about, May being in New Jersey. Well, not May, but maybe we find May's car in New Jersey 10 p.m. on Sunday and something happened, right? So they're like, well, we're going to grab you for that because, you went to New Jersey and something happened. You're like, no, I was not in New Jersey. I was in my house. So now the idea of non-repudiation has to come in. There has to be proof that you were there or you were not there, right? So it provides proof that someone or something performed an action. So what kind of things can we use for that? We can use videos, right? If you find a video, maybe May, sorry, I keep picking on you about that funny story. But let's say we saw a video, right? And we saw May coming out of her car and walking to a convenience store, right? And grabbing a soda from the fridge and walking out without paying for the soda. We're like, well, we got you there. You took the soda and you didn't pay for it, right? Well, that's a video that shows your face. So that might be something that they can prove that it was the person. Also, biometrics. What are biometrics? Kaush, what are biometrics?
It's like fingerprints and like something. Yeah.
What?
And like hand scan,
Fingerprint.
like fingerprints.
Yeah, and signatures.
Identifying
How to identify the
identity, like
unique, like fingerprints and
Kaush, Kaush, I don't know what you're saying.
fingerprints
Like a fingerprint,
and
something
some
like
other
this?
things.
It's so small.
Kaush, I don't get what you're saying.
Fingerprints.
Yeah, fingerprint.
Okay. All right, fingerprints. What else?
scanning, facial, like face scan.
Facial scans.
Yeah.
Facial scans. All right, let's see biometrics here. All right, so excuse me.
Hi.
So fingerprints are part of biometrics, right? You can have also facial scans. Facial scans, eye scans, right? Your eye scans. You can also use, and then you have palm. You can use your eyes, fingerprints, your hands, your palms, even your voice.
Voice, yes.
Right. So the idea behind using biometrics is, for example, your fingerprints, right? According to the experts, they have never found two fingerprints that are the same, ever. Like every fingerprint, like, two people, even identical twins, right? No two people have the same fingerprints. So it's very unique. So if we see your fingerprint on something, we can say, very, very, very likely that it was you that touched that thing. That's how the police solve some of these crime problems. Your fingerprint was there. How can you say you were not there? Your fingerprint was there. So how did your fingerprint get there? Did somebody kidnap you? They kidnapped you and grabbed your hand and touched the thing. You were there somehow, right? So non-repudiation says you cannot deny that you took that action, right? And then you have a signature, like when you sign a document or you get a receipt from when you buy something, right? You go to TJ Maxx and you buy something and you get a receipt. It's proof that you bought that thing, right? And you can see how much you paid, the date, maybe the customer service person that helped you out. All right? Okay. So that's what these other terms refer to. Authentication, authorization, they're all part of access controls, right? We want to be sure of who is doing what, and we want to have proof that people did stuff. So when the police are investigating a case, they have to gather evidence, right? They have to gather a lot of evidence to show that this person, this lady, committed the crime. A lot of evidence, right? Because they're trying to establish non-repudiation. You cannot say you didn't do it. Here is all the evidence that we found. Your fingerprint, we found your driver's license there, we found all that stuff, right? Evidence. Okay. Number 9. I know this for you. So what's this here? It's a long question.
Yeah.
You receive an email from your bank telling you that your account has been compromised.
And
You need to validate the account. You're supposed to click a link to validate your information. What is this an example of?
An email from your bank telling you that your account has been compromised and you need to validate your account details or else your account will be closed. You are supposed to click a link to validate your information. Spam?
You said spam? What is spam?
Trash email.
Say that again, Lynn.
Which is
Trash
not.
email.
Well, you're right. Spam is trash email. Email you don't want, you don't need, it just bugs you. So spam is not necessarily, it's not a crime, it's just too many emails. So I'm not sure the answer is spam. Anu?
Okay, then
Phishing.
ransomware or phishing.
Yeah, phishing.
Ransomware. What is ransomware?
They take some money.
Ransomware.
Do something maybe. Ransomware.
Look at that. Look at it right here. Ransomware is used to extract payment from the affected user. So I give you an example of Colonial Pipeline. Right? The Colonial Pipeline, those guys were asking for $5 million. So the company couldn't access their files, right? It was affected with ransomware. So that's what ransomware is. It blocks access to your files, and you have to pay to get them back. Of course, one of the main, should I say, one of the ways to prevent the success of any ransomware attack is to have backup files, right? Companies who take that action, they have backup files. So you back up your files. If it happens that ransomware attacks your files, you don't have to pay ransomware. You go to the backup files and retrieve your files. That is a very effective strategy. So some companies don't do that. They want to spend all this money on ransomware. And in fact, what we know is that ransomware, even after you pay them, they only give you back about 80% of your files anyway. They don't give you everything. And if you pay them today, they're going to come back tomorrow, right? They're going to keep coming back because they're just greedy. They're like greedy Gregs. So the first thing is to not pay, or rather the first thing is to have backup of your files, regular backup of your files. And then if ransomware attacks your company, then you go to your backup files. So Anu, I'm not sure it's ransomware.
It is phishing. I think it is phishing.
Phishing.
So the question is, you get an email from your bank, or you think it's your bank, Your bank has been compromised. You have to validate your account. When you get an email saying validate your account, click on this link. It is a false email. Never do it. Never. Your bank will never do that to you. Your bank, the school will never ask you to validate your email or to validate your account through email. Click on a link. Your bank can email you and tell you to go to the bank's website and do it, but not this way. All right? So
Phishing.
let's see number 9 there. So what I do? So what's the answer? That was what? Right here, right? Number 9. So phishing is a form of social engineering. Phishing, where an attacker sends an email asking you to perform something, do some kind of an action, right? It says this might be considered spam, but phishing is more specific. Spam is just getting all these emails, right? But more specifically, that email is asking you to do. I mean, spam is just maybe somebody says there's a job for you, or they're trying to sell you something. Just send emails to everybody. Spam is not necessarily bad. It's just annoying because you don't need it or you're not asking for it. But phishing is asking you to do something, like the one I showed you guys the other day. All right, let's see. So this is going to be phishing here. All right, Anjuman, is Anjuman here? If you are concerned about confidentiality of client records, which of the following should you be on the lookout for?
She's not here, I don't think.
Oh, okay. She's not here, so.
Oh, she said her son have some party or something.
A party?
So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right, Lane, try this one.
if you are connected about
confidentiality of client records. You want to be sure you're protecting client records, right?
You should be on the lookout for too.
Basically, your job is to protect client records. So what should you be concerned about? What is eavesdropping? Well, eavesdropping is just hearing people's conversations, right? Trying to hear other people's conversations. Maybe you can even use electronic methods just to see what people are talking about. All right, that's eavesdropping. What's the other one? So that's it right there. It says for confidentiality, you have to think about snooping, right here, snooping, eavesdropping, wiretapping, social engineering, dumpster diving. Those are some issues that lead to people's information, right, being stolen somehow. So you got to keep people's information confidential.
What is snooping about?
What is snooping? Have you heard of Snoop Dogg?
Yeah, this is the first thing that comes in my mind.
All right, so let's see snooping here.
Maybe following.
So right here. So basically, Snooping is kind of like trying to find out what is happening in a network. It's like, let's say you go to, let's use this. Let's go to, all right, so let's say you go to a parking lot, right? Or a parking garage. So somebody goes to a parking garage. Oh, that's a bit too small. Why are they also small? All right. So you go here and you start looking around, looking around. Is anybody in the car? Is anybody in the parking lot? Something like that, right? You start looking around, just snooping, trying to see, just snooping, right? You're trying to see what's happening. What is happening? If you have the right tools, you can also snoop on somebody's network. Like I showed you guys a picture of Wireshark, right? If you have Wireshark, and you know how it works and stuff like that. Let me show you what we can find here. You can snoop on somebody's network and see what kind of activity is going on in that network. What kind of IP addresses, where the person is, who the destination is, the protocol, are they on DNS, are they on TCP, whatever, what websites are they going to? You can snoop just to see what is happening, what kind of activities is going on in there. The whole idea of snooping is see what you can, can I attack? Can I, find something going on there, right? Somebody can walk around the building, right? You walk around the building trying to see, well, is there security around here? How many security people? Do they lock the doors? Snooping. Well, so a famous, this is funny. Do you know this guy, right? You guys know of this guy? This guy's name is Snoop Dogg. Is a famous musician. It's not the same thing as snooping, right? This guy is just a singer. So, Anu, have you ever heard of Snoop Dogg?
Yeah, I heard about the dog, Snoopy.
Yeah, so that's his name there, Snoop Dogg. Okay. All right, so that's what snooping is, Alex. So eavesdropping, like we said, the denial of service, the same idea. Denial of service when somebody can prevent you from doing your work, maybe through a power outage, right? Or they compromise your file somehow. Denial of service. They're denying you service. You can't work. You can't get anything done, maybe through ransomware. The whole idea of denial of service is to prevent you from working, from being productive.
Eavesdropping.
We saw replay attack. That is when an attack is successful and they feel they can do it again and again and again and again and again. All right. So, Lynn, let's see specifically when you're concerned about confidentiality, you have to look out for what? Let's see. Question 10.
C is
what?
Correct. No, C is correct.
What? C?
Yes. Social engineer.
It says choose two.
I'm sure C is for now. Other one I need to guess.
Lynn, stop guessing.
A and C.
Eavesdropping. So eavesdropping, someone's trying to find out your information, trying to find out, what you're doing.
Yeah.
Social engineering is just somebody trying to. This is confidentiality. You're trying to protect client records. you have that information, you're trying to protect it. So eavesdropping, social engineering. Okay, let's see. Number 10. Is somebody outside?
No.
Is somebody on their bike or on the train? All right. So, Lynn, A and C, confidentiality concerns include snooping, eavesdropping, wiretapping, social engineering, dumpster diving. Denial of service is an availability concern, and replay attacks threaten integrity. So A and C. So it looks like you're right.
A is me guess.
But stop guessing anyway. Okay. So let's go back there. A and C is correct. So eavesdropping and social engineering. Okay, number 11. What is it called when a co-worker sitting next to you always seems to look your way when you try to enter your user ID and password? May, what's that called?
Shoulder surfing.
Shoulder surfing.
Yes, easy one.
Shoulders. Easy one, right? Easy. Piece of cake. Okay. Couch, which of the following security terms best describes the process of determining what a user can do? What a user can do with a resource. What's that called? What they can do. Couch?
Accounting.
What they can do.
No.
Resources. Manipulation.
What a user can do. So let's go through it again. Authentication means that we have verified your identity, right? Part of that, we verified who you are.
Yes.
Accounting means we can track what you are doing. Non-repudiation means it's proof that you did it. Authorization means what you can or cannot do. Right?
Yes, authorization.
What
You remember now?
Authorized to do.
Authorization, what you are authorized to do. Like when I showed you this site here, I can go to some of this sites, but I cannot go to the admin of the Paycom because that's not my job. That's for people in accounting or HR. So I'm not authorized. I'm not authorized to go there. So authorization, what you can do, right? What you're allowed to do. All right, Alex, which of the following operating systems are susceptible to viruses? Okay, let me show you something here. This is just basic, but let me show you this. Linux. All right, look at this here. So some people think that Mac computers never get infected by viruses. But it's not like they don't get, in fact, they're getting more and more infected. But the reason why Windows seems to always get infected is because Windows is more popular, right? That's what it says here. Windows is more popular, so any attacker, they don't want to waste their time. They want to get maximum reward, right? So they go for the more popular system, which is Windows. But Mac and Linux can also be affected by malware. So basically, every system can be affected by malware. All systems: Mac, Linux, Windows. So right there. So let's just confirm number 13. So all, right? All current user operating systems are susceptible to viruses and malware. All right? All systems. Okay, let's see a couple more and then we can wrap this up. So this is all, right? Okay, a network, Alex, let me stay with you. Take the next one too. A network administrator wants to enable accounting on her network. Which options should she use? She wants to enable accounting. Accounting is what? What users are doing, right? Trying to track them, stuff like that. So what can she use to figure that out?
Transaction log, for sure. And software tokens, I don't think that would be too useful. Web browser history, for sure. Yeah, B and D.
Yeah, because your history tells you where you've been and what website. Transaction logs tell us, keeps track of all your activities. So let's go back there again. Number 14, right? B and D, all right. So logs and web browser history. All right. Arch, let's take the next few here.
Which of the following can be used as an authentication factor for non-repudiation?
Non-repudiation, proof that somebody did something. Or proof that, somebody, yeah, proof, basically.
Biometrics.
Biometrics. Biometrics. Yeah. Non-repudiation. Okay, Arch, number 16 also.
Your manager is concerned about potential wiretapping on wireless network. What type of concern is this?
Wiretapping. I think we're talking about wiretapping. Yeah, so wiretapping is under confidentiality, right? So basically, we talked about this on Monday, I think. When somebody places some kind of a monitoring device on your phone so they can hear your conversations, right? Wiretap. Maybe on your phone, on the phone line, right here. Wiretapping can be done over landlines or network cables, cellular phones, Wi-Fi, wireless connections. So
Authorization
So should be
confidentiality.
confidentiality, exactly. All right. May, let's go back to you, May, for number 17. To log into a network, you must use a password and answer a security question. This is an example of what?
A.
May,
Is
May,
the
where
A.
are you?
I'm here.
Okay. So that's an example of what you must use a password and answer a security question. Okay.
A.
Multi-factor authentication.
Yeah.
All right, May, number 18 also. 2 questions.
Which of the following threats
Threats.
can,
Threats.
can directly impact data integrity on a network? And
Yeah, data integrity just refers to when that data has been compromised, when the data, just basically gets messed up. You know, you want to protect the data. You want to be sure that it's not stolen, it's not accessed by people who shouldn't be accessing it, right?
mm-hmm.
So let's just go and see what the. I mean, this few remaining questions are not very difficult.
Yeah, the
Go
man
ahead.
in the middle. I don't know what is man in middle.
Man in the Middle is a song by Michael Jackson.
Any snooping, I think.
Man in the Middle.
Oh, integrity control.
Okay. Somebody places something between a server and the client. So you might think that you are accessing like a website, but somebody has put another fake website right there. You're not getting to the actual. So there's something in the middle, right? So you're dealing with the wrong website or with the wrong service. So basically, they're able to intercept your data. It's like the idea of a middleman, right? Let's say you want to buy something, you want to buy a car, and somebody says, "Oh, I'm the middleman. I can help you get a good car." So they help you do the transaction. Well, in this case, it's not a good thing. They are kind of standing between you and getting the, access that you need. So man in the middle. So right here, it says the attacker might also alter the data. So you're not actually dealing with the right data because of this man in the middle situation. But a common solution to the man in the middle problem is secure wireless authentication, WPA2, wireless protected access version 2. All right, well, that's all we got. The answers to the other last questions are right there in the book, so I'm not going to spend time there. We've covered this topic enough. In fact, the next chapter is also about the same thing, so I'm not even sure we should spend much time there. Let's see. Because I want us to review a lot of things that we've done. Sam, any idea when people might start thinking about the CompTIA exam?
Yeah, so I'm planning to try to get everybody to schedule the last week in August.
Okay.
So that would give you, until the end of, until the 26th. I think your course is supposed to end on the 25th. Is that right?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So that would, so that last week, I'm not sure which day of the last week. But one of those days, not Monday, probably either Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll try to do it on the 26th. Maybe we'll do it on the Thursday.
All right. Yeah. So I'm thinking that, probably we spend, I don't know, we spend the whole of the next. When we're done with this week, we spend the last 3 weeks or so of the course reviewing the early chapters, right? Chapter 1, chapter 2, 3, the early chapters, because I don't want Lynn to be guessing all the time.
Okay.
So, and I'm sure a lot of us have forgotten a lot of that stuff. It's a lot of information, right? A lot. So maybe like even the assignments, right? Even the quiz. Maybe we'll just redo the quiz all over again. Like chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe like the first 5, because chapter 6 to 9 or 10, you're kind of like maybe it's a bit fresh. So the first half, we can just redo the quiz and just try to get back into it.
Yeah.
All right. All right. That's all I got.
What is that
Let's
final
do-
exam project that I just saw that was missing
What?
on the grade in the canvas? There's a final exam project copy that it says that I'm missing. Should we have done?
No.
anything?
It's for no. I think it's just something that was brought over from another course. You guys don't have a final exam. Your final exam is going to be the CompTIA exam, right? So this whole course is just to prepare you guys to do well in that course. So there's no exam. It's just the assignments. So the assignment for chapter 9 is out. You can look at it, and if you have any questions, let's do the attendance, and I can let you guys go.
Okay. Thank you.
And also,
Thank you,
Professor,
sir.
I would like to know how do I read the book like you read that?